Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is an anime based off the manga written by Arakawa. And it's no secret that it is one of the most popular and one of the most highly praised animes to come out ever, being rated #1 on almost all anime rating sites. But the question is whether Fullmetal Alchemist really deserves that title of being the best anime created, or is the best anime ever created? And the short answer is no, because of things you've probably heard from a lot of people. Because there is no best anime ever, because everyone has their own opinion, and things that make an anime good to them will be different compared to somebody else, and there's no true way to prove what is best. But there are reasons that animes are higher rated than others, and that does deal with a multitude of qualities, such as the quality of the actual show, the topics in the show, popularity of the show, and the hype that the show gains at the start, as we've seen from the past few seasons of anime, where a few shows stand out, and then on anime lists and different websites, the scores for them shoots up at the very start. All these help to tell us why FMAB is so highly praised and popular. Let's start out first looking at the quality of the show. And something that I've come across when talking to many people about this show is something I believe myself, is that the show does every aspect of a show in general great, yet no one thing stands out above the others as being truly perfect or amazing. While other shows, one part of the show stands out, such as a show like Psycho-Pass, where the strongest aspect to the show is a psychological aspect in the story, and it takes a look into the moralistic viewpoints in society for dealing with criminals and the justice system as a whole. Yet the characters are more there to push the plot forward and spreading those ideas for the most part, and they aren't developed as well as I think most people would like for a show. In FMAB, every aspect has its strong points, yet none are perfect in its execution. Story-wise, it's the strongest point of the show, going through and looking at themes of sacrifice, war, genocide, religion, and aspects that define a human, and along with it, telling a story with action, emotion, and drama, and no real holes to drag the plot down. It is paced well enough to neither hinder it too much either. Yet there are aspects that do hold it back from being the perfection. With first being that the beginning is sort of rushed, due to the creators of the show seeming to assume that everyone had seen the first adaptation of this show in 2003, and it takes away a few aspects that helped create the emotional tone that the 2003 version did so well, and some other tonal issues which overall isn't a huge problem, but the comedic moments, especially at the beginning, and the divide of the tone of the show from dark and brooding to a light-hearted Saturday cartoon, which was a little strange and jarring at times. And an ending, while widely praised, can be seen to some as not completely loyal to the themes of the show, as some may have liked, with the topic of sacrifice. Character-wise, the show does a great job of creating unique and coherently written characters that all have their own faults and pros and backstories that defines who they are and shape who they are in the future, and they all have enough gray area in all the characters to keep you guessing on where their loyalties lie. Yet a few overall don't get enough justification for being part of the show other than comedic or plot pertinence, such as Mr. Yoki and Mei, and a few other characters aren't completely developed enough to their full potential. Also, Father in the end isn't the most charismatic or uniquely written villain, not being bad at all, but doesn't stand out that much. Yet I believe the Homunculus and Kimberly make up enough for that. Lastly, there's music, art, and / animation. In both cases, they both have their strong points. Art and animation wise is probably some of the strongest Bones has ever had, especially for action scenes, yet there are moments in which the quality and overall is inconsistent throughout, yet never falling to being bad in any fashion. Then the OST and the music overall. The openings and endings wise are all very strong and fitting songs, while the OST having a more epic feel to it and being consistently strong overall doesn't stand out enough to really be counted as a masterpiece of an OST. But past looking at a show's quality, it isn't the only reason for a show to get praised. There are a lot of animes out there that are very unknown and are very good. The next reason why this show is most highly praised and popular, the big thing is popular here, is the fact that this show is a lot more grounded than I think a lot of animes in general, because animes in general are kind of stereotyped to being weird, with tentacle loli loving monsters and macho man grunting kind of shows, and with a show that is more grounded, dealing with things like war, genocide, sacrifice, and other than having magic powers, which for live action movies and shows isn't that weird to modern society and is something that most people already enjoy, and being overall well written with good characters, it is seemingly an easy show to get into, and is also known as a very good gateway anime for many, which then leads into another topic. With this being such an easy anime to get into, it is, like I said, one mini start out with, and without being able to compare it to others, their opinions and ratings of the show are going to be higher than some someone who has already seen many animes and has something to compare it to, especially if you enjoyed the show. But two final things I want to go over. One, this is a readaptation of the manga Fullmetal Alchemist, and with that, the series already has a strong following to it, and also being a direct adaptation of the manga, while the 2003 version didn't follow it completely. This will gain a lot of praise from people who wanted a full adaptation of the show, and also those who are already a fan of the series. And lastly, is a sort of bandwagon reason which can honestly affect the rating of the show both ways, because with people praising it so highly, many people will follow along with the crowd and praise it right along, even if they haven't even seen it, and then they will just hand out 10s when they have actually seen it without thinking twice. Yet this can also go the opposite way, seeing that everyone loves it, and then there are people that are like, oh my gosh, it's not even that good, seeing all the praise it gets, and then give it a lower score just because they don't like that it gets so much attention or is highly rated. But that is enough for me ranting. I'm done with the long version of whether FMAB is the greatest anime of all time. I would still stand by the show and say it tackles many themes that many other animes don't take on, or if they do, they don't do it as well, and hands out relatable and unique characters and a story along with it. But the show is not perfect. It has its faults like any other show, but just because it's highly praised doesn't mean you should follow the masses just because, or to write an entire review ripping the show because others do enjoy it. Try to form your own opinion in the end, and remember, to those who hate that someone else loves something that they don't think is top tier 10 out of 10 anime, try to respect their opinion because we all enjoy different things in the end. Nonetheless, I'm done preaching. Tell me what you think of this topic. But my name's the Arcane Keyblade, and if you enjoyed, punch that like button, and I will see you all later. Peace out.